Yes, you are, everybody. Welcome back to more nonsense. So, following on from the videos I'd done on my 10 favourite Mega Drive and 10 favourite SNES games, I thought I'd continue it on now with my 10 favourite Master System games. And just like the other two videos, if you've watched them, these aren't, I'm no way am I saying these games are the best 10 games on the Master System. They're just my 10 favourites for whatever reason, and predominantly they're all my nostalgic titles that I enjoyed back in the day, though there are a couple of things I've tried in more modern years which have sort of crept into my top 10, and I will also say there are two which I would have put in my top 10 if I owned them, but unfortunately I don't, and I'm not prepared to pay the money they go for these days. Both the games which I never had back in the day, and I've only experienced by playing them on the Master System Challenge of Ollie's. And I've experienced a few Master System games through doing that, which I'd never played before, and it was quite like, I don't know, it was enjoyable to discover them after all these years, because you can sort of think the 8-bit systems, well, they're not as good as other stuff, but there's still some amazing games on them. So, like I say, the Master System Challenge was fantastic for that. I'll put a link to Ollie's channel in the description. I'm sure you know who Ollie is, but it's ended now, obviously. But nevertheless, like I say, it introduced me to some games which I'd never tried before. And that brings me to Power Strike, which is the game, unfortunately, I haven't got, either one or two. I've bought all the other shooters on the Master System, unfortunately not got either of them because they're both stupid money, especially Power Strike 2. There's no way I'd contemplate buying that. I wouldn't rule out buying the first one, but certainly not the second one. However, had I have a physical version, I would have put these in my top 10 because both of these are amazing games, I've got to say. It blew me away how good these were when I played them I played the first one on the challenge and then tried the second one after playing the first one and thinking the first one was great. I think the second one is even better. It's just a fantastic shooter on the Master System. It's just crazy, like, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 quid probably to buy it. So, it's totally out of the question. Like I say, I might buy Power Strike 1 at some point, but even that at like 70, 100 quid, it's a struggle, to be honest, to pay that kind of price for it. However, they're awesome games. Right, on to the top 10. Right, so number 10 is World Grand Prix. I've got a hell of a lot of nostalgia for this game. I mean, it's a very basic racing game, as you can see. But I can remember, way back in the day, I think it was possibly the first or second Master System game I ever bought. I think I got some birthday money, or I saved up pocket money or something like that. Because I remember being on holiday. It was down south somewhere. I was in the back of the car with Mum and Dad. And I remember buying this out of Woolworths with my holiday money or wherever it had come from. And, just looking at the box then for the rest of the holiday. Couldn't wait to get home to play it. And it was such a cool game. I absolutely loved it. Like I say, it's very basic. Obviously, it's a car racing game. And you go around the various tracks in the world. But this would have been higher up on my list because I used to absolutely love it. However, having tried it more in recent years, it's quite frustrating now. But I'm always going to have that nostalgia. I still think it's a cracking game. But some of the AI on the, the AI cars, they violently swerve in front of you to make it crash. It's really quite annoying at times. But that said, even with that frustration, I'm always going to have amazing nostalgia for World Grand Prix. So I've got to put it in my top 10 really, and that's why it's my number 10. My number 9 pick is another one I've experienced in more recent years through playing it on the Master System Challenge. And we've got Streets of Rage. Obviously ported to the Master System from the Megadrive. When I first tried this for the challenge, I really wasn't expecting a lot, I must be honest. But it absolutely blew me away. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not as good as the amazing Megadrive version. But for the Master System, it is a sensational port. And what a stellar job they did. I mean, it's very similar to the Megadrive, obviously just a bit downgraded, but it's absolutely stunning, I've got to say. Had I had this back in the day, this would have been further up my top 10. But I felt I'd got to put it in there purely because it's so good. As you can see now from the gameplay, it just looks, sounds, plays amazingly well on the Master System. I mean, it's a shame the second one didn't live up to the same kind of quality. The second one's dire on the Master System, but this one, sensational. That's my number 9, Streets of Rage. So, what's next? So, number 8 on my list. Now, a lot of people probably would have thought this might be my number 1, because we've got Outrun. This is another one that's been affected by time, really. Back in the day, this would have been my number 1, because it's my all-time favourite game, as you probably know, and at the time, this was sensational. However, time has not been kind to this, in my opinion. And at the time, I'd moved on from the Spectrum version, and this was like playing the arcade in comparison. But with what's followed since, and the passing of all the years, I really don't think this is that good now, I must be honest. I mean, it's still playable, but I mean, it's Outrun in name only, really. It's not really that close to the arcade in any way, really. That said, it's still decent, but it's fell far off the pedestal I used to once hold it on. I've got 3D running in the background here. I hadn't got the original Outrun on this box to put the gameplay on, unfortunately. But never, anyway, that's why it's my number 8. Purely, because if I was just talking about my nostalgic memories, it would have been up there as number 1 or 2 probably. But having played it more recently, unfortunately the gloss has felt, dulled a bit, and it's not the epic game I once thought it was, but it's still great to have. That's Outrun. So my number 7 is Space Harrier. This is kind of in a similar ballpark to Outrun. Another game I used to love back in the day, and this was at the time, it was a 2 mega cartridge, sorry. This was like, seriously cool stuff at the time, bigger cartridge. I think these were $24.99 when they came out in, late 80s. It's probably 60, 70 quid's worth now in today's money. But yeah, I mean, the arcade was amazing, and I played the Spectrum version. So when I got this felt like playing the arcade because it looked so good. And to be fair, it's still quite good now, I think. A cracking conversion on the Master System. That holds up reasonably well, I think. This is better than the Megadrive port of Space Harrier 2, in my opinion. So, a cool game. I mean, who doesn't like Space Harrier? It's fantastic. Welcome to the Fantasy Zone. Get ready. That's my number 7, which is Space Harrier. Number 6 is Rocky. Absolutely loved this game back in the day. I didn't actually own this to start with. My mate at school had it, and I was always borrowing it off him, and lending him something I'd got. But I was always wanting to lend this off him because it's such an amazing game. I was a big fan of the Rocky films, and you know that helped. You know, you felt like you was playing the films because you could go through and against all the opponents out the films. You know, you'd fight Apollo, and you know you'd fight Clubber Lang, and then you'd fight Drago. Amazing, loved it. And then you got the training in between each round, hadn't you? Such a cool game. And I mean, I'm not a fan of boxing games now very much at all, but for me, this is the best boxing game ever made. Absolutely brilliant. And holds up really quite well, I think. So I'd got to put this in there, to be honest. And that's my number 6 pick. Yeah, number 6 is Rocky. So my number 5 pick is Shoplifter. Now this is another game I used to want to borrow all the time off the same mate I borrowed Rocky off. Ain't it weird how you used to covet what you hadn't got yourself? Something in that, you know, I think. In, you know, kind of the grass is always greener kind of thing, in it. Anyway, Shoplifter, what an amazing game. Arcade conversion, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's brilliant. Sure you've played it, but you know, you're in control of a chopper, take off from your base, pick up the hostages throughout the level by moving left and right, while avoiding trying to get shot down by other planes and tanks, and get all the hostages to safety, end the level. Stunning conversion. I'd say easily one of the best games on the Master System that really holds up well, right to this day. Stunning, stunning game. That's my number 5 pick, and it's Shoplifter. So my number 4 pick is Teddy Boy. Now this is one I never had back in the day, and this is the last one that has been influenced by what I've tried on the Master System Challenge. But again, this one really blew me away. What a stunning game this is. So simple, you know, a basic platform game, but it's done so well. Absolutely loved it when I played it on the challenge. As you can tell, you know, it's bypassed a lot of my nostalgic games, and I've put this at number 4 because you know, I like it that much. It's a cracking game. Again, based on an arcade game, Teddy Boy Blues, which is even better, I'd say. But this is still a stunning game. Absolutely love it. That's Teddy Boy at number 4. Now my number 3 pick, you might not believe it, but yes, it's World Soccer. Now this, again, I first played this at the same mate's house I borrowed Rocky and Shoplifter from. This was another one of the games he had. And again, I used to borrow this quite a lot. And absolutely loved it, and I'd got to get my own copy eventually. And obviously by modern standards, it's terrible. I mean, I don't play football games, except the odd arcade style football game. However, the nostalgia for this is amazing, and although it's, you know, poor in comparison with obviously a modern football game and how it looks and plays and everything, it's just got such a charm to this. It's an amazing game. You've got the standard, obviously, game of football side on, kind of like Match Day on the Spectrum. But, you know, I'd moved from that to this, and this felt like playing an arcade machine in comparison to playing Match Day on the Specky, to be honest. But then you've got the penalty mode, which I absolutely loved, which was, you know, at the time, this screenshot here, at the time, you know, the graphics on that was sensational. It was like something out of another world. And I still, you know, love firing it up every now and again, even today. Might play the odd game of footy, but just a quick penalty shootout competition is amazing. Without doubt, the best football game ever made. You can keep your sensible soccer, you can keep your kick-off, whatever you're into. FIFA, you know, that can go to landfill as far as I'm concerned. World Soccer's where it's at. What a stunning game. That's my number 3 pick. So my number 2 pick is the amazing Wonder Boy. Again, loved this back in the day, and what a stunning conversion it is, and it's still a stunning game to this day, in my opinion. Quite possibly the best game on the Master System. I was close to putting this as number 1, to be honest. It's just an amazing game. It plays brilliant. The music is sensational. I just absolutely love it. It can't be bettered. I know people like the later versions, you know, and a lot of people, you know, put Monster World or whatever in as their best Wonder Boy game, but for me, the pure total platform action of the original is definitely my favourite, and it's an amazing game. I absolutely love it. Even, like I say, I've played it recently on the Master System Challenge and it still holds up. It's just as good. It's timeless. It's just a sensational game. It's got to be the best port ever of Wonder Boy, surely. Yeah, I think so. That's number 2 anyway. That's Wonder Boy. So yes, we've reached the number 1 spot, and your eyes don't deceive you. You haven't woken up on some strange alien planet. My most favourite game on the Sega Master System is Hang On. Laugh if you like, mock, jeer, but this game is amazing. I still love it to this day. It was built into the original Master System I had, so a lot of it's probably come from the fact that for a while it was the only game I'd got to play, because I had the original Mark 1 with Hang On, not built in, sorry, on the card, and my built-in game was the Snail Maze game. So I'd only got the 2 games to play to start with, so I put a lot of time into Hang On, until I think it was then where World Grand Prix I bought, which is basically Hang On with cars, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, the arcade version of Hang On obviously never came out on anything, really, and up until it came out on the Dreamcast. So although this is kind of a shadow of the arcade, it's just so playable. It plays really, really well. Even to this day, like I say, it's much better than World Grand Prix. The opponents are much fairer on this, and you've got a much less frustrating experience playing this than you have World Grand Prix. And it just loops around, you know, as you go through. The scenery changes throughout the game, as you can see from the screenshots there. But it's essentially the same game. You just scrolls around until you run out of time, basically. But it doesn't matter to me that it's one of the most common and probably cheap games you can get on the Master System. It's just got, it oozes playability, oozes nostalgia for me, and it's forever going to be my favourite Master System game, and the one that I've got most fond memories of. That's Hang On, my most favourite Master System game. What's yours? So there we go. Probably not the top 10 you expected. Maybe one or two surprises in there. But let me know what you think. Hope to see you again. I'll do another one of these. I quite like doing these top 10 games in my sort of nostalgic sort of memory lists. Thanks for watching anyway. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you shortly, hopefully. Sayonara.